Well, that's an inconvenient retirement truth. Check this. My man Lynn said this to me from the EBRI deck. That's the EBRI is the Employee Benefits Research Institute, what I'm a big fan of. They're very nonpartisan, very not. Hold on, someone wants to say hello. Someone says, "Dad, you've been gone for a couple days. You got to include me." There's Pablo. Look how clean as a whistle. Pablo uses Irish Spring. Clean as a whistle. Even though Pablo's Mexican. Hi. Anyway, if that doesn't get your juices flowing to watch these videos, nothing will. Ain't that right, Bobs? Yeah, he's clean as, look how shiny he is. Oh my lands. Anyway, so I'm a big fan of EBRI. They do some good stuff, and they're not shy in terms of saying, hey, we need to do some stuff to fix retirement. I just disagree with this wholeheartedly, though. I mean, so EBRI, I like them. They're non-biased. They're non-partisan. They still lean a little bit too far, in my opinion, towards the retirement. Like, oh, we're all gonna die in retirement. They're not that bad. That's why I like EBRI. But I just disagree with that. That's okay. We can be big boys like Joe Biden, put on our big boy pants, and still have disagreements about retirement. And I'm just going to show you another example here. And this is from the EBRI. They did a study. They did 1,266 retirees. Now, I don't know. I wonder if we can find out like the racial breakdown. I don't know the ethnicity, the religion, the net worth of these people. I don't know. But you can see right here. Nearly 4 in 5 retirees agree they're able to spend money how they want. Almost 7 in 10 believe they are having the retirement lifestyle they envision. I mean, now you just because you're able to spend money as you want now, and that you're living your retirement now, that is the way you envision, doesn't mean there is not a threat to your retirement. I'm going to be very, very clear there. It doesn't mean that you're not potentially going to run out of money. It doesn't. It's kind of like in 2005. Well, man, I'm just using my house as my ATM. It's great. I'm living the lifestyle I wanted. And I can spend whatever I want. Well, 2008, guess what? You were in a world of hurt. So just because people are here today doesn't mean they can't be there tomorrow. This is the thing I hate about the liberals, by the way. They always say the top 1%. Other than the 0.01%, the top 1% ebbs and flows, man. There's a different group of people in the top 1%. I mean, I've been in the top 1%. Sometimes I'm not. So not very often I have, but I have been. Your old buddy Josh, using welfare money, purple and orange and green, and purple and orange and brown, I think, is what we had food stamps growing up. Even I have been in the top 1%. It doesn't take a huge amount to be in the top 1%. You don't need $1 million. I'm just telling you right now. Your top 0.01% is whole different, and those people are there forever. They'll never leave it. But the top 1%, so people are the top 1%. Those are small business owners, generally speaking. Sometimes they have good years, sometimes they have bad years. There's a very fluid group of people for sure. So these aren't the same people. Things can change, and they do all the time. Businesses go freaking crushing, they go bankrupt. You could have a crushing job and then go back. The whole thing happens all the time. So just because these people are here are freaking living large doesn't mean they can't be, paupers in the future. I just want to point that out. But be it as it may, these people are still saying they're able to spend the money on how they want. Now, part two of that has to do with the fact with the markets going up. But the bond market's got killed. I cannot stress this enough. Let's take a look at something. Check this out. We're here at the new portfolio visualizer, which really just sucks. They ruined this thing. I don't even ever hardly use it anymore. I just really disappointed. But we're just going to run it because at least it can give us something here. Check this out. So we're going to go to BND, the total bond index. BND. Why do these guys buy this out and then let it just go to crap? It drives me up the wall. And we're going to put 100% of our money in there. And we're not going to do anything here. We're just going to get rid of that guy. All right, so 10 years B&D, if we put $10,000 in there, it's now worth $11,000. All right, and if we look at inflation adjustment, it's actually worth I can't see what that says, $8,300. We've lost relative to inflation. Now on top of that, I've actually done some pretty cool things here for the portfolio visualizer, but it only goes back to 10 years, which I don't like. But anyway, I was hoping to see we could do the income. We could take out income on here, but I didn't see how you could do that. So let's So check this out. Hang to edit portfolio. Let's see if we can do that there. Portfolio name, settings. Oh, sweet. It does let you take out income. Nice. All right, well, that's pretty cool. All right, let's rebalance some cash flows right there. We draw a fixed percent. We're going to draw $500 a month. Because that $500 a year, excuse me, that's 5% of the 10,000. We're going to adjust it for inflation, and then we're going to come down here and Let's see. Oh, well, that's pretty good. I mean, it only goes back to 2015, which kind of sucks. But anyway, still, be it as it may, we're gonna come back here and you can see our $10,000 is now worth $6,000, and when you adjust that for inflation, so we got crushed. And I know a lot of people are like, look what I've been able to do here. If I invest in the S&P 500, even adjusted for inflation, I'm up to 16,000. That's 400% higher than the bond fund. I get that. But if this was you, even though we've had the last 10 years been remarkable for stocks, they haven't been remarkable for bonds. And so just going back to the EBRI thing where they said, people are feeling that they can spend money. We did get hammered in bonds. The last 10 years have been a horrible thing for bonds. And a lot of people have a lot of bonds in their portfolio. Just because as they go to retirement, the idea is to take a little bit less risk off the table. And I completely agree with that. So if they're still doing well in that regard, I mean, that's still something to be said. Again, it's an inconvenient truth. These are truthfulness. Now, wait until after the next bear market. Are they going to say the same? Probably not. But I tell you what, the bond market has already seen its decline. So now oh my goodness. So I'm saying to people like, look, don't you see? The stocks have gone up so much. It doesn't mean stocks are dooms. But I'm just saying, don't you see the opportunity that lays in bonds? Anyway, if you haven't rebalanced your portfolio to adjust for the potential upside for bonds, but the stability that bonds are getting, and you're just relying on the stock market, especially if you're right about or just recently retired, I think you're making a big mistake. Anyway, be it as it may, EBRI comes up with some good numbers, and no one else is going to talk about that because it's, fear sells. Hope doesn't sell, fear does. All right, love your thoughts. God bless.